If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. You won't believe what they're selling at Barnes & Nobles. Now, I'm going to show you this, but I also can confirm these things because, yes, I actually went out into society. Past the Xanax. No, I'm kidding. I actually went out into society and went to a Barnes & Nobles. And what did I see? I walked around the store to see what books were out, what was going on. Not to act like I'm well educated and I go to bookstores and I read books, but I just happened to go in there to see what was going on. And what do I see? Well, right in the front, right on the side, and just about everywhere in the store are books promoting magic. And I'm not talking about Harry Potter type books. I'm talking spellcasting books. On every table, there was literally a table just for magic, teaching magic. Yeah. And where was the Bible, you ask? And I'm going to get to the good stuff in a minute. You're going to see. I'm going to show you. But where was the Bible, you ask? Well, the Bible was in the fiction area. That's right. The Bible was on a table with books by Tom Sawyer. Yeah, that's where the Bible was, right next to Dracula, which of course isn't really a book of fiction, just ask the rabbis. Right next to that, right next to some other fictional tales, Charles Dickens novels, the Bible. Interesting. Now you might say, okay, Carl, well, I'm not surprised that there's books about witchcraft in Barnes & Nobles. I mean, it is Barnes & Nobles. We all know that the people who own and run Barnes & Nobles are obviously controlled. It's a monopoly. You don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to start a bookstore, and suddenly you have $1 billion bookstore, somehow stay in business when nobody really even buys books anymore because they do everything on their phone. Nonetheless, we know they're controlled. But this will surprise you a little bit because I'm going to show you. Ready? Let's go on a little adventure together to Barnes & Noble's website so I can show you. Yep, come on. Let's go. All right, so if you type in Aleister Crowley, Barnes & Noble's, it even says the Aleister Crowley collection. That's right. And you might say, well, maybe it's just some books that mention his name. No, it's his actual teachings. That's right, including some of these books which will shock you, surprise you, make you sick to your stomach. Sure will. So not surprisingly, hundreds of books Crowley wrote. Look at this. We've got all these books by Aleister Crowley here. The Book of the Thoth, the Book of the Law, which teaches many of the teachings that Crowley teaches, right? Okay, all of the teachings pretty much. But wait, there's more, because wait till you see the big one. You know, the one that talked about ritual sacrifice and how specifically young blondes with blue eyes, preferably young boys, were preferred to enhance the power of the spell? Yeah, that book. It's at not the library, excuse me. It's at the Barnes & Nobles. Now, we all know that they've removed that from the current updated version because... yeah, that's right, I'm holding my hand up. People such as myself who have been exposing it. Thus, people have made videos who own the new version of the book, and they go, it's not in there, it's not in there. Well, it's in the real version of his book, and that's a fact. Check. So we scroll through, what else do we get? Oh, 777 and other Kabbalah writings of Aleister Crowley. Remember I did a video on that, the guy who was doing rituals, he was putting blinds up over his windows, Jay Station or something, the loser's name was, and he was, telling people how to summon spells. He was using that book, the 777 writings of Aleister Crowley, which, wow, it talks about the Kabbalah. Isn't that fascinating? You know, the people you can't question talk about, what they teach in their books. They teach black magic, spellcasting, sacrifice, you name it. That stuff we'll talk about on the website, not over here, of course, because Oh, it's anti-something over here. You can't say anything. So they have that book right there at Barnes & Noble's, Magic with a K. Look at that for the kids out there, right? The Greater and Lesser Keys of Solomon the King, Crowley and Mathers. You see all these books, the 3 magical books, the Book of Lies. All the books of the Book of Lies is pretty much what he's referring to, even though I'd like to say that the guy's nothing but a liar. I mean, he teaches magic, which is real. But the Book of Lies, Satan is a liar. So it's pretty much Satan's Bible, the Book of Lies. You scroll through the Book of the Law again. Here's some other ones, Aleister Crowley Collection. I mean, don't worry, there's hundreds of books. Yeah. They're everywhere. And oh, look at that. The Best of the Equinox, SEXXX Magic. Wow. And that right there, folks, that book's got some interesting spells that revolve the youngsters, that revolve, how do I put it, the Hershey Highway, all that kind of stuff in there, and spell casting and how it works. And then you just look at the way the world is now, and the Baphomet worship and everything else, and you put one and one together, since they all worship Crowley and his teachings, and they wear his shirts, they put them on album covers like the Beatles, and Barnes & Noble's has every one of his writings available in stock, available online. Look, not in stock at my store. Well, I don't know. I have a VPN, so it's probably in stock at my store. But the Blue Equinox, the Practice. I mean, look at this pure trash. Now, if you're somebody who likes, I don't know, if you're a what do they call them? Pyromaniac. You like to burn stuff. Well, then this might be the right place for you, Barnes, and get some of these. Right? Remember they used to talk about book burning? Well, here's some books that should be burned right here. The Works of Aleister Crowley. Look at this. I mean, you see all the occult symbolism that, you all know of, the stuff I expose, other people expose. They've got their sigils all over the place. They got their pyramids with the eyeball on it, but that's coincidental. That's the same thing that's on the back of the dollar bill. But we're all crazy people who can't connect dots. I mean, look at this nonsense. Dramatic ritual, just teaching rituals, magic. And like I said, the Bible sits over next to Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. Unbelievable, folks. Moonchild. Lots of videos out there about Moonchild, specific Moonchilds, celebrity Moonchilds. I forget what channel used to make videos on it. It was really good. But Moonchilds, specific ones, have celebrities who are actual children. Look at the covers, just go on and on. You got another one. What does it say there? Essays or something. Essays in Light. You got the pyramid with the eye. The Book of Lies again. The Book of the Law. Liber, the Book of Lies. Some other ridiculous, embarrassing witchcraft book. Magic with the Eye of Horus on the cover. Does he have a book on optometry as well that we could read, or is it just? Does he have a book where he's going to tell us all about the eye and the pigments in the eye and why some people get pink eye? And yeah, no, he doesn't. Oh, he's just another person fascinated with the eye. Oh my goodness. Here's another book that pops up. It's got the black and white checkerboard floor with the obelisk. It's called To Perfect This Feast by James Wasserman, but it shows up under Crowley in the search. So obviously he's mentioned in the book and his rituals in the book. It's so interesting that it has the obelisk. Remember the Washington Monument, folks, 666 diameter, 666 in height, and that would be in inches, not feet. They don't tell you that anymore since people like me expose it. They try to hide that because it's right in front of your face. And the black and white floor, of course, just coincidental, not used in magic at all. You only see the repetition in the pattern. You see the Ankh on the cover of one of these. I always used to do videos talking about that symbol, the Ankh, and how misled people were. They're like, no, it's my cult. I had people of different races and cultures getting all butthurt about it. It's not. My ancestors did. Oh, guess what? It's an Egyptian symbol. I don't walk around, look, the cross is a Wiccan symbol too, that they use, they want churches to use as a symbol of Christ. I don't say you're occultic if you have a cross on your neck or you have a cross in your home. I get what you're doing and why you have the cross and honoring Christ and Christ giving his life so that we could have salvation. But, all these symbols. The Ankh is just another symbol from the occult. And people are like, no, don't say that. It's not. You're calling my ancestor. Yeah, okay. Aleister Crowley, magic. Let's see, Magic Rock and Roll by Barry. I mean, just look at this. Sex Magicians. Aleister Crowley in America. I mean, this actually, in the New World, so they're probably talking about what's actually happening. But these are his teachings, the magic of Crowley. Right there for next generations. This is a guy who was known as the Beast. I mean, that's what they pretty much called Aleister Crowley. What was his exact nickname off the top of my head? I think it was the Great Beast 666, I guess, was what they called him. And, here, I mean, it's unbelievable, some of the stuff. Let me just read you a quote from one of his books, okay? For those of you who are like, well, maybe the stuff in the book's not so bad, Call. Because, people will question and then say, well, he doesn't really have anything that talks about human sacrifice. Oh, he does. He's got plenty, and he's got plenty that talk about children, and hence this is why the world is the way that it is. But everybody out there is just blind by their zeal. They're blind by the fact that they just think all this stuff's a huge joke. And then, when they're going to be asked to participate in this stuff, we'll see how big of a joke it is to them at that point. But, that's kind of how the world is right now. Amongst many of the quotes, one is, those magicians who object to the use of blood have endeavored to replace it with incense. Hence, you see incense and why they push it on lukewarm Christians who don't realize that practicing New Age Christianity is practicing occult stuff. But anyway, those magicians, Crowley says, who object to the use of blood have endeavored to replace it with incense, but the bloody sacrifice, though more dangerous, is more efficient and for nearly all purposes. Human sacrifice is the best. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Barnes and Nobles. Oh, here we go. How about some other ones here? You mind? Living Thelema. Yeah, that's the teachings, the dark teachings that he teaches in Thelema. Just promoting this stuff in a store where kids could just go and buy it. Wouldn't even ask them their age or anything. The 10-year-old could just go buy this. And people are like, well, let them have the right. Oh, all right. But adults like me, I don't even have the right to speak anymore. I can't even talk about flamers without getting criticized or getting my free speech taken away or my channel shut down or anything. Well, not anymore. I'm ready to stand up and fight. I've had enough of this crap. Oh, The Eye in the Triangle by Aleister Crowley. Do What Thou Wilt by Aleister Crowley. Secret Agent 666. Aleister Crowley, British Intelligence and the Occult. All right, because all these guys are involved in the CIA and British intelligence, but, that's why you never hear any bad things about him or them come up. They go, oh, he was misunderstood, right? And he pops up in comic book strips and series to promote it to kids. Aleister Crowley, Treasure House of Him. I mean, I could go on. It's 13-plus pages, collection of look at this garbage. Aleister Crowley's biography. I mean, give me an utter break. Aleister Crowley, look, you see it for yourself. The Ouija board, Aleister Crowley and the Ouija board. I mean, right, because the Ouija board is another thing they use to summon spirits and do spell casting, but we're all crazy. They only show it to you in every movie that there is, and they only sell it to kids at stores. I mean, same with Dungeons and Dragons, different type of gateway into the occult than the Ouija board, but still is. And I don't want to hear people like, I played Dungeons and Dragons, I didn't get in. Well, I'm embarrassed for you that you played Dungeons and Dragons, but just because you didn't get into the occult doesn't mean that kids out there aren't going to use it as a gateway in, because a lot of them do. And a lot of people who leave Satanism or the occult have admitted that the start into looking into magic started with Dungeons and Dragons. No different than now, because Dungeons and Dragons, while still nerdy, is not as popular as it used to be because there's so many options now with witchcraft, from Harry Potter to all this nonsense that we see from Disney, every witch game that comes out, Magic the Gathering card, but they're not gateways into the occult, right? It's the same. It's just, oh man. Look at White Stains by Aleister Crowley. I wonder what stains he's talking about. Probably the ones he left in San Francisco on the sheets. He probably didn't even leave them on the sheets. Left them between the cheeks. Disgusting. These people make me ill. And I'm not in a laughing mood today about any of it. Seeing witchcraft books for kids at the store for teens. Seeing gothic people out cluelessly with they're gothic. They have Satan shirts on, and on their wrists they have pride bracelets. I mean, it goes hand in hand, this whole agenda. Amazing to see, but unfortunately there's not enough brains being used in this world. And I don't even think half these people have a brain inside their skull. It's just they're walking and living on autopilot. So Barnes & Nobles, folks, another thing if you want to boycott everything in this world, which is perfectly fine because that's what I do. But, I mean, you can't even walk into a place just trying to get out and clear your head without seeing this crap because it's everywhere. And that's why I got a lot of content and a lot to talk about because it never stops. Once you're awake, once you decide to be awake, and once you're thinking on a conscious level 24/7, you're not walking around in a daze being controlled, you see it everywhere because it's everywhere in our culture and our society. And it's disgusting. I thank you guys for listening to today's show. Unbelievable, folks. You like to burn things. You like to burn books. Start here. I thank you again for listening. God bless all of you and your families.